He wasn't as good as Michael, but he wasn't as good as Magic. Every generation you get that. You begin to sound like that old man that lives down the street, and every time you walk on his yard, or you even walk by his yard, he's on the porch and he's got that little crooked finger. He's like, "Get off my lawn! Get off my lawn!" Join me Saturday mornings at 9 for the Weekly Sports Magazine on JournetRadio.com.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. That's not old school. I know it. I just thought I'd throw a little bit of California love in there. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. Little Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, ain't nothing wrong with it. Hey. Kicking like a fat rat, old school style. I'm Dynamic Dave. I'm here 8 to 10 every Saturday mornings doing sports. Thanks, Greg Polk, for joining us this morning. Coming up, hopefully we'll get Larry Ridley next hour, along with Tim Swift, our fantasy guru. A lot of people are drafting this week. A lot of drafts taking place. So we'll get him on. And we're also going to set it up where you can actually go to Weekly Sports Mag, at Weekly Sports Mag, and tweet him your questions. So we're going to do that as well, so he can answer your questions while he's on the air with us as well. Now, one of the things I said, and every week I do a dynamic dish where I take a few minutes to talk about things that some are serious, some are not. And today we're going to talk about head coaches, all right? And the type of head coaches you like. And there are certain head coaches, and there are all kinds out there. There are those head coaches out there who it's their way or the highway. And there are those head coaches who can come in and take what he has and, make wonderful music. So my question was this morning was, would you prefer to have a coach who you can go and buy butter, flour, and milk and make bread and feed you? Or would you prefer to have a coach who has to go to the grocery store and buy the Betty Crocker or the Pillsbury biscuits to make biscuits? Which is the better coach? And I think both have been successful. Both can be successful. But let me tell you the difference in the two. Now, certainly you have those coaches, and we've seen them. And I'm going to tell you one that will jump to mind right off the bat. Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson is a wonderful coach in managing talent. You saw what he did with the Lakers. You saw what he did with the Bulls. The thing is with Phil Jackson, is he a great coach? I think so. But he has a different style, as opposed to a Popovich, who took a team and who has been with San Antonio for, I don't know, he's been there for a long time. And it took a lot of has-men. Now, certainly he had some superstars with Tim Duncan as the anchor. But he basically has built the team from nothing. He's built a franchise from nothing. And there are college coaches that are opposite. I call Popovich the Baker coach. I call Phil Jackson the buyer coach. Because, see, Popovich, he's the type of guy that you can give flour, milk, and butter, and he'll make bread with it. He'll not only make bread, he'll make pancakes. You know what I'm saying? He'll make like fritters. That's Popovich. And then you take Phil Jackson, okay? Phil Jackson is the guy who you call in when things are going bad and you got all the things in place. He's like the celebrity chef who comes in and he does nothing. The sous chef does it all. They do the cutting, they do the planning of the menu, and the celebrity chef may come in and make a bisque. He may come in and make a sauce. He'll come in and he'll taste everything. And then he arranges it where it's a great presentation. And everybody says, "Oh, chef, you're so wonderful. You're this and you're that, and you're just a genius." And yeah, whatever. When actually, all of the helping hands did all the hard work. Now, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And that doesn't mean that chef has not paid his dues, because He certainly has, I'm sure. Working in kitchens, by, fast kitchens, washing dishes. I know when I was in that business, I started from the back of the house before I moved to the front of the house. So there's nothing wrong with that. But and you're saying, well, why are you talking about food and coaches? Okay, here's the point. Which is the better coach? Because we're seeing a lot now. See, coaches can make or break an athlete. And I tend to think that people don't understand that fact. They can make or break an athlete. That's why athletes hate coaching changes. Because you have to, once you've proven yourself to one coach, and then this other coach may come in with a different idea of who you should be, the type of athlete you are, the position that you might need to play, yada, yada, yada. And if you don't conform, you potentially could be out on your ear or relegated to the bench. That coach that has that set mindset of this is how it's got to be done. I think in some respect, that's happening to RG3. And I think in a lot of respect, that's happening to a lot of these quarterbacks who are coming out now who are not drop back quarterbacks. The NFL is a drop back passing league. It has to be, number one, because you pay too much for quarterbacks. The fact that you have to get Michael Vick. Look at the Cleveland Browns. Manziel is hurt. The quarterback's hurt. They're worried about whether or not Terrell Pryor might end up having to be a backup quarterback for the Browns. So quarterbacks are so important. They pay them so much money, you can't have them out there running the option for a chance of them getting hurt. So I say all that is to say this, is that in my opinion, the best coach to me is a coach who can simply take what he has and make something out of it. Now, it may not be everything he needs, but he knows how to move around talent. He knows what his players can and cannot do, and he plays to their strengths. He don't sit around and pout and say, oh, well, I don't have anybody that can run a 4.3 40, so I'm not going to throw a pass deep. Instead of thinking, well, maybe I can utilize some of my medium speed by running a screenplay. Duh! That's a novel idea. So I'm just, to me, I like a coach who can take stuff. So, and I hear this stuff about Gruden and Griffin. Oh, it's got to be Gruden's way. And you hear a lot of coaches doing this. Oh, it's my way or the highway. But coaches, as you listen to me this morning, and look, I didn't play long. But as I've covered sports, my experience in sports, I'm telling you, you lose a lot of athletes because of your rigidness. Certainly you have to do things the right way. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying you got to be a little bit more flexible if you want to be more successful. So I just like the Baker coach. The executive chef, he's cool. But if I had my choice in hiring a coach, I would just have to go out and hire that Baker coach. That coach who can take butter, milk, and flour and make something out of it. All right. That's all I got to say on that this morning. We got to go out and take a break. That's my dynamic dish of the week. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll have another one next week. We'll start doing this. And, of course, by the way, if you want to sponsor the Dynamic Dish, you can always contact me on my Facebook page or go to @weeklysportsmag.com. We got to take a break. We'll be back here in just a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
How much money would you be willing to give